Once Pakistan's biggest heartthrob, a star born on television, Fawad Khan seemed destined for greatness. But today, his name is whispered not with reverence, but regret. Chasing Bollywood validation, avoiding the dramas that made him iconic, and embracing controversies he never needed. This is how Fawad wasted his potential, misplayed his cards, and allowed his stardom to slip away. In the mid-2000s to early 2010s, Fawad Khan was untouchable. Humsafar, Dastaan, Zindagi Gulzar Hai. These were the dramas that carved his place in history. He became a symbol of refined romantic lead, charismatic, elegant, beloved. Pakistani television made him a star. His very presence turned mediocre scripts into must-watch moments. The audience worshipped him, critics praised him, and he had options galore. Then, after a long hiatus, came the legend of Maula Jatt, Pakistan's biggest box office success, where Fawad got to play in the arena of film. Huge production, massive viewership, and overseas recognition. At this point, staying relevant would have required maintaining that momentum, picking roles wisely, staying close to home, feeding the hunger of local audiences who still adored him. Instead, Fawad turned his eyes outward. He began skipping dramas, the very medium that built him. He said many of the scripts weren't up to his standards. He waited and waited. That absence, that gap, started doing damage. The Pakistani television industry didn't wait. Other actors rose. New viewers came, unfamiliar with his former glory. What once seemed indulgence now looked like arrogance. The long periods of inactivity in Pakistani TV, the insistence that only high-value projects mattered, allowed his connection with local audiences to fray. His brand stayed strong among established fans, but his visibility among newer generations dwindled. He was no longer seen nightly on TV, no longer part of water cooler conversations the way he was. And in showbiz, absence often equals exit if new faces take your place. Then came Barzakh, a short series starring Fawad. Barzakh drew criticism in Pakistan for its portrayal of certain themes, with some viewers calling it bold or accusing it of challenging cultural norms. The backlash wasn't driven by foreign influence or political bans, but rather came from within. Segments of the local audience felt it crossed cultural lines. The controversy centered on artistic choices, cultural sensitivities, rumors, and waves of social media outrage. It hurt him locally, reinforcing perceptions among more conservative viewers that he was distant or questionable. However, the Barzakh controversy, mixed with his Bollywood ambitions, fed into narratives that he was trying to be too edgy, too global, ignoring local values. Whether fair or not, that combined with his long absences made many in Pakistan wonder, is he chasing acclaim abroad at the cost of his roots? Then came Abeer Gulaal. After years of absence from Bollywood, he accepted the film opposite Kapoor, set for release in India on May 9, 2025. However, the Belgaum terror attack in April triggered renewed tension, public outrage, and calls to boycott Pakistani actors. The FWICE and others demanded the film not release in India. Fawad condemned the Belgaum attack and expressed sorrow, but it wasn't enough to quell the backlash. As political and social pressures mounted, Abeer Gulaal's release became uncertain. The film was delayed and eventually released on September 12th, but only in select international markets, not in India or Pakistan. Critics panned it, Audiences largely ignored it. What was meant to be a rebound became a flop, or at best, a symbol of miscalculation, a bid to re-enter Bollywood that collided with timing, tensions, and the weight of public sentiment. While Fawad waited for the perfect Bollywood role, other Pakistani actors seized opportunity. Netflix, streaming platforms, Pakistani films and television that did not shy from risky stories, subtle themes, or modern styles. The audience changed. Younger viewers no longer knew him from Humsafar. They knew him by older clips, memes, social media discussions, more than fresh performances. Meanwhile, many criticize that now, when he does act, his roles lack the same spark. Because absence doesn't preserve mystique, it erodes relevance. Those who once longed for Bollywood have turned to Pakistani content or international shows. Many accept imperfect local scripts as long as they are visible and deliver. Fawad's insistence on only good scripts, without producing or backing them, or being present, led to fewer opportunities domestically. Critics say his attitude played a big part, publicly dismissing dramas, implying they are beneath him, sometimes criticizing what gave him fame, acting as if the Pakistani industry is not capable of his standards. While there is merit in wanting quality, there is danger in disowning your own platform. When someone says, "I won't do this role because it's not good enough," while not delivering alternatives or taking smaller risks, it becomes a privilege statement, not an artist's standard. At times, his Bollywood choices seem driven more by ego than craft. Abeer Gulaal especially, choosing a mediocre Bollywood film in the middle of tension, knowing public opinion may be hostile, knowing distribution and censorship issues are real, and still going ahead, that's not just risk-taking. Some would say that's desperation dressed as ambition. Now, Fawad is 43. In an industry that values youth, visibility, trend, voices that speak to current social narratives, his long gaps matter. The political relations between India and Pakistan are unpredictable. Each escalation, terror attacks, border disputes, threaten cross-border work and public perception. Bollywood projects for Pakistani actors have repeatedly been blocked or boycotted, not because of talent, but because of identity. Even when Fawad Khan expresses sorrow, condemns violence, or states distance, audiences see his nationality first. Meanwhile, Pakistan's own entertainment industry is rising. Higher budget films, better production values, streaming shows, new writers and directors pushing boundaries. If he had stayed more active in Pakistan, he could have grown with that wave. But instead, he banked on reputation, not output. His choices handed space to others. Perhaps if he were to accept strong dramas now, produce his own projects, return to Pakistani screens, he could recapture some goodwill. But the risk is always present, that the audience has moved on, that new stars have replaced the blank spaces he left. Fawad Khan had the looks, the talent, the charisma. He was a phenomenon in Pakistani television and film. But chasing Bollywood dreams, mishandling controversy, distancing himself from the medium that made him, letting time pass by, misreading the political climate. These are the pieces that combined to dim his star. He still has legs. He still has fans. But what he lost is certainty. Is he a Pakistani TV legend, or someone who wanted more, so much more, that he broke what he already had? In this game, sometimes the biggest loss is of identity, connection, and legacy. The lesson is clear. Greatness doesn't only lie in dreams abroad. It lies in consistency, loyalty to your roots, and knowing when what you already have is enough to build something lasting.